Hello, everybody. It is Romania Black, and we are on episode 3 of Moriarty the Patriot, the Scarlet Eyes Act 2. Oh, I'm really excited. I really liked the last episode where we got into Moriarty's backstory, and I have to say, I like Moriarty. I do. I really like Albert. There's just something about Green Eyes and his character design, but also about Albert's. I feel like we've gotten a lot into Albert's personality and his morals and his beliefs, and he's kind of like down with the system, down with the 1% that I'm a part of, or at least reforming it in some way, or reforming how it views people of other class systems. So I really like that. I like Albert's character, and Moriarty, he has that Dazai crazy chaotic gremlinness to him. We don't know much about Louis. Louis's pretty quiet right now as the brother. He's kind of the frail, quiet one, so I'm curious if we'll get more on him. But who's not frail and quiet is Albert's brother, who I think is gonna bite the bullet this episode. I really think he is. I'm not sure. He might not. But I just get that impression that he's gonna die in that fire. Especially after how he treated the servant in the last episode and all of that. Did not get good vibes. Not at all. So yeah, I really like this series so far. The OP, I love the OP. It's so weird because the OP is sung by the voice actor for Reki, and that's kind of amazing because I would picture that it was Adam singing it or Inosuke from Skate the Infinity, but not Reki, so that's really good. But anyway, I'm pretty excited to see what happens in this episode, to see our conclusion. I'm assuming this will be the end of the flashback, and then we'll go back into the present to see Moriarty. When we last saw Moriarty, he was horse gambling, or trying to give a guy advice on horse gambling. So we shall see. But in any case, I'm pretty excited to get started with this series. It is toasty in here, and that is okay. But let's do that, shall we? I mean, we have a burning house in this episode, so it seems appropriate. But let's do this, shall we? We are going to start episode 3 of Moriarty the Patriot here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1... Let's go. So, that ended up ending like I thought it would, with the fire, and I did not think Albert would be the one to kill the brother, which I guess technically the fire killed the brother. But I didn't imagine that it would be Albert stabbing him. What a callback, what a parallel to episode 1. Like, Moriarty, the idea that he sets everything up. He's the consultant, he sets up the things, but it takes the person who, it's like the Faust deal with the devil. You know, I'll set it up, but you've got to be the one to follow through. He did that with the dad, and he did that in that starting back with Albert. Man, what I like about this show is it's not afraid to be dark as hell, but just the idea. I like Albert's character a lot, and the symbolism of Albert and being stuck in this aristocracy and hating it, and hating the prejudice and everything that comes with it, and wanting to recreate this world in a more ideal way. Interesting indeed. Man, that brother William, what an asshole. He was the worst. The absolute worst. It's like you were asking to die, basically. I like the idea, though, that going back to that first image, the rich couple looking all snootily at the kid in the streets, in the alley. The kid in the alley having the green eyes like Albert, and the two family members just like looking, the couple. Granted, Albert's dad had green eyes and his mom had brown eyes, so the couple in the carriage didn't quite mirror Albert's parents, but I like that the kid that hates his life kind of mirrors Albert too, in a little bit of ways. But the idea of tainted hearts giving rise to devils, and it's kind of interesting. I'm like, it's very much the ideology you can imagine of a kid being like, oh, well, we'll just cast out the devils. If people are being bad, we'll just get rid of all the bad people, and then there won't be any problems. And it's like, well, that's great in theory, but it's one of those things, if you believe that there always has to be balance, there has to be darkness and there has to be light, there's always going to be, that's the dilemma, right? And so I'm assuming that's where Sherlock's going to come in to kind of be that counterpoint to William, that counterpoint that there's another option, even though Moriarty doesn't quite believe that, especially not as a kid. But I mean, Albert wooed by Moriarty. Albert definitely wooed by him. And the idea that this kid, that Moriarty is so intelligent and that he has a means to help Albert follow through with his ideals, follow through with them. Because Albert wants to remake the world where the aristocracy is changed. It's not just these spoiled rich people that are looking down on society and the people of lower classes and being cruel to them. He wants a world where it's more equal. So that ties back to Albert in episode 1, where the dad at the sewing shop, the suit shop, was like, oh, well, you don't have to come to my son's funeral and waste your time. And Albert's like, that's not wasting my time. Like, you got from episode 1 that Albert hates the idea of being upper class, and here it kind of explained why. Like, his whole family and just their conversation and just how tedious it was, and just tedious and awful, and we'll talk about that. But I really like getting into Albert's character. Louis, bless his heart, sweet Louis. Oh my gosh, like when he's having that seizure, I felt so bad. And Moriarty clearly loves his brother, loves Louis. Like, he clearly loves Louis and only wants to help protect him. And it's like, and then Albert's own brother, he's never had that bond with because his own brother's a piece of crap. And so, you know, he sees the Moriarty brothers, he sees Louis and William, and he's like, these are the brothers that I want. This is the family that I want, these guys. And so, dang. But just the planning of it, here's the thing. There could have been so much go wrong with that plan. There could have been so much that didn't happen perfectly. And it's a cool idea, and it makes sense they're kids. This was the best thing they could come up with. But you can kind of see the evolution and the development of their plans as they grow up, and it going from being effective but risky to having more consistency and security that's going to work. I don't know what the family crest means. I'm assuming in the comments y'all will tell me if you've not already told me by now. I'm recording this a little ahead of time, so I'm assuming that you all will tell me what it means. But just the idea of this big, giant mansion, and it's so overwhelming that Louis backs behind his brother, almost out of fear. Like, he's like, this is too much. It's too much. And then, of course, adopting them, Simon. And Simon's kind of one of those examples of the people of the lower class that's accepted his role and takes pride in it and doesn't like this new stuff coming in and mucking up the system. Like, he's accepted the system and he's okay with the system, and he doesn't like it that these kids are coming in and changing things. And William just kind of glares at him like, I'm assuming he died. I'm assuming he died in the fire as well, because they were all probably asleep when it happened. And then Albert's just like, leave them alone. They're going to live with us. And of course, Simon can't speak up because he's the son. But yeah, I definitely got the impression that the dad did have a thing for the Duchess and him, because he was all very pleased that she was so smitten with his ideas. And I hate that it just, that the mom being like, that Louis, then they'll catch whatever diseases. And that's when Albert's about to walk in with Louis and William, and he decides like, nah, and just shuts the door. So here's the thing. We don't really know. We know Louis's name is Louis, but is William's name, or is there two Williams? Because William's a very common name, right? William is a very common name. So it could be that both Albert's brother is named William, but also William Moriarty, Louis's brother, that they have the same name. We can assume that, or we can just go with he just took his brother's name. We're not sure. We're not, told either way yet. So, but yeah, I do feel for Albert, because you can tell he just hates where he grows. He just hates his childhood. He hates that he's growing up in this giant house, and it's all facade. It's all about status. It's nothing real. And then, yeah, the Duchess, the one guy being jealous, the wife being jealous. And at first, in the last episode, I didn't think that that Albert's dad, was really into the Duchess, but then he gets really, pleased with himself that she's so enamored by his generosity and his charity. So it'll be curious to see if this woman is still alive, because this has been several years, to see if she's actually still alive, or if she has a kid or something, or, if we'll see the orphan that she took in or whatever. It's interesting. Or if she's just there to make a point, right? That the whole idea of taking in these orphans as a charity, as a noble thing, is just kind of disgusting. That you're not doing it out of actual compassion or kindness. You're doing it for a status, to like be trendy. Ugh. The brother Louis having a seizure, that was heartbreaking. That was so heartbreaking, because he's like, don't go get help. He's like, I'll ride it out. It'll be fine. I don't want you to leave me. Like, that says so much about their relationship in that one scene, that his brother is willing to be in pain, physical pain, but he's willing to do it because he doesn't want his brother to leave his side. Like, that just said, that whole scene set up their dynamic perfectly. And there was like hardly any words spoken. You didn't need it. You knew exactly what Louis and William both thought of each other. And at the very end there, where Louis takes the piece of wood that's burning and burns his face, you know, saying that, hey, I'm going to do, you guys, Albert stabbed his brother. William set the whole thing up. He's like, I got to do something in this. And so I'll make it look like I was injured so that we didn't just walk out scot-free. But you can tell that Moriarty definitely cares for Louis a lot. A lot indeed. The whole tea scene, as soon as William, Albert's brother, wanted him to make tea for him, I was like, I thought that he was going to stab Louis. I thought he was going to hurt Louis, or I thought he was going to cause like a seizure to happen. I thought he was going to like have an onset of a seizure. Something like that was going to go down. But no, Moriarty, again, showing how much these brothers care for each other, Moriarty takes the fork and just stabs it. I'm like, ugh, that was so, just did it. Just did it. And it showed all the blood and stuff. No, thank you. That was just, and here's the thing, Albert and his brother do not have that relationship at all. And so I think there is some jealousy on the brothers' part too, that these two siblings are willing to do anything for each other. And he doesn't have that with Albert. So there's some jealousy on his part. And then there's some jealousy on the mom's part. It's a messed up family for sure. That one shot of Albert's brother William's face where he looks so smug. Oh, what a shot. Ugh. No, thank you. But Albert seeming like he's so angry with the fact of what his brother did. And then I like this conversation between Louis and Moriarty. He's like, why were we invited here to this mansion? Was it out of aristocratic obligation? That was the word I was thinking of, obligation. You know, the charity, was it sympathy for my illness? It's not sympathy for his illness, which we're not told exactly what it is. It's just that an operation will help fix it. So I'm not exactly sure what it was. I'm assuming that they fixed it. They had the operation because he's better now. But yeah, Louis questions. He's like, why is it? And Moriarty is like, yeah, he's helped us. So what sort of just desserts can he receive from us? So it's kind of sad because these brothers are like, why did they take us in? What are we being used for? What's going to be the trade-off? And it's sad that they have to think that way. That it's not just Albert likes them and wants them to be with him, but that they think that there's some sort of reason why they were brought in. So that's the sad thing. And then we get to see just how deeply Albert is unhappy with his life. Like the idea of everyone's faces like blurring out and like rotting away. It's really sad. And Moriarty, it cuts back to him and his brother saying that that's what mutual aid is. And I don't think it's such a bad thing. He says, we're taking advantage of his offer as well. So yes, a two-way street. They're taking advantage of his offer for a nice place to stay and getting away from the orphanage. And Moriarty's like, we'll need to wait a little bit longer to see what he seeks of us. So it's like they're feeling him out. They're like, we know that he's brought us here for a reason, but why? You're the crime consultant, so why did he bring you here? What does he want you to do? And in the end, what he wants to do is have Moriarty help him reach his ideal. And Moriarty's given him a means to do so. But yeah, just the idea of everything blacking out. And then there's the dinner scene where they talk about him going to his college and his studies. And then, yeah, they ask him to throw out the two boys. And the dad isn't saying, we can't throw out the two boys because that would be cruel and inhumane. The dad's like, well, we can't do that because then I'll look bad. And it's like, it's not the point. And then the mom saying, if they would become a bother to police, then we could have a reason to. And that's where William gets the idea of putting. And I love that symbolism, that imagery of, as she says that, he's like cut the yolk and it's all just running like the over easy egg. It's really, really good visual there. But yeah, he gets the idea, and he has the fork and the cutlery. That's where he gets the idea of the silverware. And then, of course, and the thing is, the funny irony of it all is that the dad sees the peddler who had seen Moriarty earlier doing the good deeds around town and helping the people. And the dad is like, hey, this peddler offered me thanks for something that you did, some sort of good deed. And William is so stupid and so conceited and narcissistic and awful that he doesn't, what I thought was going to happen is that William was going to take credit for Moriarty's work. I thought that was what was going to happen, that Albert's brother was going to take credit for what happened. And then, but he's so oblivious and self-centered, he doesn't even get it. He's like, what do you mean? They must have had the wrong person. He's like, I wouldn't be speaking to some common peddler. I mean, those people are like sewer rats. And the dad agrees with him. They're all just as bad. And the mom tries to like get him to stop. And she says, we're eating and you're being foul. But she's just as awful. She's not even, again, thinking of the people. She doesn't say, oh, that's a mean thing to say. She goes, oh, this is not proper, like proper things. You can talk about that after we're done eating. It's like, ugh. And the conversation just devolves from there. And talking about the birthday party. And even the birthday party, it's so conceited. He's like, well, this person can show up, but this person can't show up, and blah, blah, blah. And Albert just blocks them all out because he just can't take it. And I like that one of the reasons one of the kids can't come to the birthday party is because their family's in financial trouble. And we can't invite one kid because they're only life peers. Like, it's so stupid. And Albert just can't take it anymore. He's like, nope. He's like, I hate this world. I hate this society that I'm living in. I want it to change. And that's the push to get Moriarty and Louis to help him. And here's the thing. Moriarty's like, I'll help you. But here's the thing. I'll come up with a plan, but you got to have the courage to follow through with it. Otherwise, we can't meet halfway, right? And Albert is someone that has conviction and courage. Like, he has an ideal and he wants to see it through. But I did not think that we were going to get this crazy symbolism with the red sky. The red sky, what symbolism? That big blood moon and everything. Even Albert's eyes going from green to red. That was amazing, that use of color. And yeah, they all suspected that Albert's brother would try to frame William and Louis, and he did. He was bringing the silverware to hide in the drawer and frame them so they'd get thrown out. And he kept a fork as self-defense. Just, and that whole parallel back to episode 1, and that Albert actually did it. I didn't think Albert would stab him at first, but he did. He stabbed him. And just to rub it in, Moriarty's like, oh no, we need to keep you alive. We need the autopsy to show that you died from the smoke inhalation, not from being stabbed with the wood. We need to show that you died during the fire, not before it. That part's genius. That part where they thought ahead long enough to be like, we need the brother to die of the fire, not of the wound, so that they can't pin it on premeditation or before it. That's amazing. There's so much with this plan that could have gone wrong, though. And it's genius for 2 kids. It is. It's genius for William and Louis. 3, I guess, if you include Albert. It's genius for those 3. But for being kids, it was a genius plan. But in hindsight, you're like, so much could have gone wrong. So much could have gone wrong. If Simon had woke up, if a parent had woken up, and if they'd gone by the kids' room and saw William, if they had woken up and smelled the gas, if something had happened to the gas beforehand, if the string on the trigger broke, if the trigger didn't pull. There were so many different levels that it could have gone wrong. But again, these are like 12-year-olds, right? I think Albert's a little bit older. Albert looks like he's 14 or 15. But the idea that so much could have gone wrong, but it all happened to work out this time, the perfect crime. And then, yeah, them being in the cellar was pretty genius. They'd hide in the liquor cellar. because the gas wouldn't seep in, and and there was a vault there, so it would spare them the damage from the fire and the explosion. I didn't notice this, but when Albert's about to stab him, little Louis, he has like just a little munchkin gremlin face. It's like, ugh. And then, yeah, nah, I don't feel sympathy for the brother of Albert, for William. Nah, don't feel sympathy for him at all. And him trying to pull the brother card, and Albert's like, the fact that we share the same filthy blood makes me want to vomit. I hold you, this family, and this whole society in contempt. And I'm going to change it. Starting today. And I don't need people like you in my world. I really like Albert's character. It's like, and he tried to defend himself with the fork. Damn. Oh, and he just twisted it. Dark show! Alright. Cool. Glad we're getting into this. But man. Yeah, and then everything goes back to normal. And then Albert and William's like, Moriarty says, you show me the proof of your resolve. So yeah, we got this. And he's like, well, of course. But yeah. I'm glad it all worked out for him. And then the brother doing that to his face. And then just calling back to the last episode, these are my brothers, William and Louis. And then they all just grew up together. That's really cool. I like the idea that these three boys grew up together as brothers. And so in the Edie, you can kind of see the scar. He still got it. But yeah, William definitely cares for Louis a lot. A very lot. And so that's interesting going into the rest of the series to see how this all will go from here, right? But yeah, I'm so curious. We go back to the present and Moriarty explaining his sob story, his family story, and that guy being like, well, you had quite the ideal family. And he's like, indeed. Oh, I'm excited. I'm glad we've got this flashback explaining the bonds between the three brothers, just how close they are, and how it all has been set up. Their whole past, their backstory, everything. I'm like that we got that off the bat, that we immediately got their backstory, building up their relationship, and what their goals are to change this world and make it more ideal in their image. Fascinating. I'm excited. I'm excited to see where this is going to go. So I'm curious to know your all thoughts about this here episode, but I dig it quite a bit so far. So I'm curious to know where we're going from here. I'm not watching spoilers, so I'm not watching previews. I don't want to be spoiled, but I'm curious to know what our next episode is going to be. So we shall see. But in any case, I hope you all enjoyed this reaction. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and yeah, I'll be back next week with episode 4 of Moriarty the Patriot. Bye.